Hey friends, welcome to the School of Hard Knocks with Darcie, a place where we become unstuck from trauma and grounded in our healing. I'm your host, Darcie, and I'm a proud multi-graduate of the School of Hard Knocks. Life has a way of teaching us lessons we never asked for, but here we take those lessons and turn them into healing, strength, and self-leadership. I'm so glad you're here. Let's dive in.
Just a quick reminder. This podcast shares personal stories and lived experiences. It's not therapy. It's not counseling or legal advice. If you need professional help, please reach out to a licensed provider.
School of Hard Knocks, welcome back. Class is in session. I am here with a guest on our rebuild series that we've been doing for about 2 weeks now. This is our season in blooming. So these have been a lot of really great stories that didn't start out so great, but have ended really well. So we're always happy to hear that. So I'm joined here today by Melanie. Welcome, Melanie.
Hi, thank you. Nice to meet you.
You too. Let me tell you guys a little bit about Melanie. She actually experienced a near-death experience after a motorcycle accident where she encountered her son who had passed away 2 years earlier. During that experience, she says she was shown a powerful message about love, connection, and the way our loved ones remain with us. Today, she shares that message to bring comfort and hope to others, especially those navigating grief, which is exactly the period of time frame that I am in my life right now. So I'm really excited to talk to you about what happened and where we are now. So take it away.
All right. My husband and I have ridden motorcycles for 40 years. I rode my own since 2006. So we were experienced riders. We used to ride every weekend that we could, and we've ridden across country. On this particular day, we were out getting a burger at a local tavern. And on the way home, about 3 miles from my house, there was a truck parked on the side of the road. Not parked, but sitting. His lights were on. But we didn't think that much about it. We had the right of way and we continued along. My husband and I ride staggered, so he was in front and I was slightly behind to the right. And the truck pulled out right in front of us. My husband got around. In fact, his pant leg brushed the front of the truck, and I went right into the passenger side door at about 60 miles per hour. So this is what I remember. I saw the truck coming and it was in slow motion and it didn't make sense to me. I couldn't really understand it, didn't process. But before impact, I was surrounded by red light. It was like a glowing red light, and I knew immediately it was my mother by how she felt. And she told me in my mind, and she showed me in like lime green print on the red. Like, I'll never forget this. It's like amazing. And she said, "You're going to come with me for a little while, but you're not going to stay. Do you understand?" And the "do you understand" was like in my mind. And then I let her know in my mind that I understood. And that's when she let me see my son, who had passed away 2 years earlier. He was a blue light, just a blue energy. And he came out, and it was just a blue light. I knew him from his love. And that's one of the things that taught me immediately, was that what we feel for each other is who we are. What's inside of us is who we are. It's really not what's on the outside. We know each other from what we feel like. And it also taught me immediately that love that I feel for my son, that, before and now, is still there. It's the same. And that we will always have that. Okay. And so he showed me like his face. He would push his face through the blue to show me his face and make funny faces, because he was always a clown in life. And he was showing me who he was, but also trying to make me laugh. And then he showed me that he had gone, the blue made like a V with most of the protection up high, and that he got between me and the pain. And I later understood that to be that he protected me at the time of the accident. My sister, actually, I'm not a psychic, or I never experienced anything like this before, but my sister is a psychic medium, and she was in New York at Lilydale, and the medium in front of the group said that she had someone coming forward, and when that person came forward, that he had been in a motorcycle accident, and that his mother had been in a motorcycle accident, and also that he told this medium, who doesn't know me or my sister, that he got between me and whatever I hit. So that was kind of neat because it was confirmation, like crazy, just like what? So this is just kind of how this unfolded. And then I had lost 40% of my blood on the side of the road, and I ended up in ICU for 10 days while they repaired all of the broken bones and that, and the healing continued. But while I was in the ICU, I don't know if I keep talking. If you have any questions or want to
You're
stop me,
doing
that's
so. I'm writing them down. I just want you to keep going.
okay. All right. Well, when I was in ICU, I was in like a state of transcendence, so I could float. I was floating above my body. And even though I was intubated and I couldn't see, I could see. So, for instance, I saw the people at the foot of my bed praying. It was my aunt, my son, and my daughter, and I could see their prayers going up is like a orange and yellow light, and it would hit heaven, and the angels would come down. And they showed me that we are all connected. The message for that was we're all connected. We're still connected to heaven, but a lot of people forgot. And through that, prayer connects us, meditation connects us, and kindness to others connects us. And I didn't want to come back because heaven is so beautiful. The love there is just pure, beautiful, unconditional love. We're all connected, and nobody would hurt each other, because to hurt you, someone else would be to hurt you. So I didn't want to leave that. And I didn't want to leave my son. But I have a son on earth too. So um, my son in heaven came forward, and he was sitting in a chair, and I'll never forget, he showed me his image, right? He came to me that way, not just the blue light that I could feel, but he showed me because he was like, I'm serious. And he leaned forward and he said, go back. This is a little hard. There's things on earth that you can do that you can't do here. Like, and he showed me pictures of like eating a hamburger, feeling the wind, walking on the beach, feeling the water, hugging your loved ones, being there for my other children, right? And then he said, and anyway, you'll be here in a minute. And then he was letting me know how short life was and how precious everything here is, and to remember him in joy. Like, a lot of the things that I experienced were conveyed, not said, but he wanted me to, remember him with joy, and that don't worry, because he'll still be there when I get there just the same. So that's pretty much most of it.
Ooh, Melanie. It does not happen very often where people get me. But I am also in grief right now because my dad passed away 6 months ago yesterday. So this light
Uh,
that you're talking about is like because I can feel my dad a lot. I feel him a
mhm.
lot, and sometimes I'm
Yeah.
open to noticing the things around
Yeah.
me and what he's trying to show me and all of that kind of stuff. But man,
Same.
grief sucks.
It does. It
This is the
does.
hardest
Does.
thing I've ever experienced in my whole entire life. And leading up
Right.
to my dad dying, my dad was a survivor of a workplace shooting. So that workplace shooting actually left my dad with a traumatic brain injury. That happened six and a
Okay.
half years ago. So I already mourned the loss of the man that I had known for 39 years because he was different
Right.
after he came out of the coma. But he
Mm-hmm.
came home to my husband and I, and we took care of him for almost 4 years before he passed
Mm-hmm.
away. So it was relearning this person and having a
Mm-hmm.
same but different relationship with him. But the grief part of it's been so interesting for me because
Yeah.
it's like I'm happy that my dad's in heaven because I know how beautiful that it is. But the pain
Yes.
down here is like, wild. That missing of that person is like, oh my gosh. I literally said to my husband yesterday, is it going to be like this forever? Because his mom passed away a year ago. His dad passed away over 2 decades ago already. But I said, is it going to be this way forever? Because this is so hard. It's the hardest thing I've ever experienced in my life. Oh,
Right.
boy, that
Right.
got me.
Well, two things. When you feel that grief, look up, it breaks it. Don't look down, look up. Just
Mm,
try it sometime. It's just something that I've learned that works. But I mean, it doesn't go away. I still miss my son, even though I know he's in heaven. But you have to look at it in different ways. I mean, you have to work hard to me to still find the joy in the memory. I don't want to lose his memory. I don't
mm,
want to lose the joy of remembering him and what we shared on earth. And so I work at it. Like it comes in waves, where I'll just, oh, that's it. I can't feel this anymore. It still hurts and it's been years. But
yeah.
you learn to and remember them with more joy and connect it with more joy. But it's
Mm-hmm.
okay to cry. It's okay to cry. That's your love overflowing. And it's usually also when they're there, when you feel
Mm.
him. So he's probably sitting right with you right now.
Well, he better start enjoying heaven a little bit more. Because holy moly. Just
Yeah,
he
I
would
know.
visit like so much at the beginning where it was almost like he wanted me to be okay so badly that he didn't want to let go, and we had this conversation even though he couldn't speak back, where I was like, just enjoy heaven once you
Right?
get there, dad. Like, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. It just, yeah, it sucks. This is the worst experience of my entire life. I mean, God is so good all of the time and heaven is amazing, but this pain is unbelievable. Just unbelievable. I like how you said, because I often wondered, and I did talk to my dad about this, but my dad was in a coma for 19 days before we trached and pegged him. So in
Mhm.
that time frame, I had asked him, did you know that like I was there? Like, could you hear me? And he would shake his head, yeah, that he could. And it was like part of me like always wondered about that because you envision they're in a very deep sleep. And for you, you're saying you were like seeing it.
Yep. Yep. So much so that there was a time in the very beginning and I was intubated and I was out of my body, but I heard my son and my daughter saying, we don't know what her brain is going to be like. Okay. I hit a
Mm,
truck at 60 miles per hour and I heard them and I knew we had a knowing and I shook my head, even intubated, like I could go back in my body. So I heard them and they came over and asked me, "Are you okay?" And I shook my head that I was. I wanted them to know. So yes, yes, absolutely. He heard you and knew you were there. And he
yeah,
still,
that's amazing. And I like that too because the nurse was telling me I've never seen anybody breathing because my dad was obviously intubated, but he was breathing
Mhm.
over the top of the vent on his own because this man was so gall dang strong. The nurse said to me, I've never seen that in all of my years, somebody breathing over the top of the vent like that. And all I'm thinking is, well, he's
Wow.
probably ticked off first of all, like why can't I figure out how to do the things? But I'm sure he's
Yeah.
trying to give signs of dad's still in here.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why he kept coming back too. I feel like he kept coming back and staying so close because he wanted you to know how wonderful it is now. He wants you to
Yes.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
kind of even picked that up. I unfortunately am the one who had to find my dad. So when I found
Mhm.
my dad, I didn't realize at first that he was gone because his BiPAP was still breathing, and I thought so I tried life-saving measures until the EMTs got here. But he had this smile on his face. And I remember at one point it was ticking me off because I'm like, why are you looking so happy? And this is like the worst situation ever. Like, why are you smiling? He was
Yeah.
such a jokester. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
what is this? Like, are you pranking me? Like, what's happening? But that look was almost like he saw. He saw heaven, he saw God, and it was like he wanted me. He knew I was going to find him, but he wanted it to be
Yeah,
so evident to me that it's real, Darce. It's real. I saw it because that's what I felt when I finally realized he was gone.
absolutely. He was protected already. He wasn't in his body experiencing that, but he was still letting you know. That's beautiful. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us a little
Yeah.
bit about your recovery. I mean, you had some pretty decent damage that was done to your body.
I did, yeah. So, I mean, it took, I think, many, many surgeries. So, you just first the finding the bleeding, it was internal bleeding, and they had to stop that, and then fixing my pelvis, and then that's all metal now, and then they did the arm and this wrist, and then this wrist last, and then after that, I went into like a rehab place, a rehab facility for several weeks, but I couldn't walk. So you can't do physical therapy unless you're weight bearing. So
Mm.
all I could do was occupational. They didn't offer that there. So they sent me home and I slept in a hospital bed in the living room with, my husband and my son and his friend taking care of me. I was blessed that I had them to do that. I mean, I was immobile completely, no arms, no legs, nothing. So body cast, neck brace, the whole fun thing.
Holy
So
moly. How long did that last for?
It was the body brace was longer, but I think it was like about a little more than 2 months, and they said you can bear weight now. Your pelvis is healed well enough, which was amazing because a lot of times it takes longer. So I just feel like the prayers continued and they helped me heal. And then, but you still had to learn to walk again because after not walking for over 2 months, it's a process. So physical therapy. It would take like a whole team to get me to physical therapy, like my son, his friend, my husband. But I did it in occupational therapy. Once the casts were off, my hands didn't work. Again, same thing. You atrophy. So a lot of physical therapy and occupational therapy, and I thank them immensely because that made a huge difference. But
Yeah,
months
I
and
mean,
months
I
of
was I was very much a part of all of my dad's rehab. So I can relate to that therapy. That is some hard work.
Yeah, yes, it is. But so worth it. You have to go into it in trusting them and do what they ask you to do, or you won't get through it as well as you could, right? So yeah, even just the fact that I have use of this hand at all is amazing. And it was a lot of hard work. That little girl, I mean, she was younger than me, so like a little girl to me, but she was the occupational therapist, and she would just bend my fingers and it made me cry, and she would just put everything into it, and I just let her even though it made me cry. It was hard, but bless her heart, she never stopped and she never quit. I appreciate them so much.
Yeah, I mean that's the key to it is having first of all you have to be like you said receptive to it. Like if you're not
Hmm.
going to allow it or if you're not going to fight you're going to fight it how are you going to fix that, you know? But having a good care team. I mean goodness gracious
Hmm.
when you need that many different things working for you and having that care team is so important. We were blessed to have the same really great care team, so I'm glad you had that.
Great, great. Yeah, you too. And then, like you said, your dad had traumatic brain injury, so he wasn't the same mentally in some ways, but he felt the same, didn't he? It's
Yes.
dad that loves the same. Yeah, that's who
That
who the people are. That's what I learned. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny that you say that because my dad ended up with aphasia too. So it's like he
Okay.
automations sometimes would come out like good morning or how are you or I love you. But if we were having conversation, it would always come out kind of like, alphabet soup. And we'd have to
Yeah.
try to just break it down and encourage him to keep going because admittedly he'd be getting a little bit pissed off. Like, no one can hear
Yeah.
what I'm saying. We're trying, though. Don't be embarrassed. You didn't do anything wrong. Just keep trying. And
Yeah.
sometimes when you get out, and other times you look at me like, listen, you get three chances, and if you don't pick it up, we're just done with it. Because that was just who my dad was. My dad was
See?
not somebody who really asked for help. He was very
Yep.
like a lone wolf type of person. But when it came to this, he knew he had to try to participate. So he got really good at
Yeah.
showing me that he loved me in other ways versus just being able to say it all of the time. But I remember when we were at Shirley Ryan, which is where we had went. It's a rehab facility in Chicago. And his doctor was
Hmm.
like, I don't know about your dad's brain injury, Darcie. It's like he's not wanting to cooperate. And I said, well, let me
Oh,
tell you exactly what he's thinking because I already know. He's already looking at you, and I can hear my dad, because I know him, saying, I'm not your trained monkey. You're talking
nice.
at him instead of talking to him. Try talking
Hmm.
to him, and maybe he'll respond a little bit better. So, as they started to learn
Yeah.
my dad's personality, he was not a push me around. He was a crank some, Ted Nugent and let's work this
Yeah.
out type of guy. He didn't want to be talked
Yeah.
at. So, when they
I
realized that, he was like, let's go.
Yeah, that's great. So you were connected to him heart to heart already,
Yeah.
and you heard him, and you
Mm-hmm.
still are. And I know it doesn't take away the pain of not having him physically here, but just think about that. You still
Yeah.
are. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
there's
What a
beauty
blessing.
in that. It doesn't, yeah, it doesn't take it away. The other thing that helps me to keep going is, the people that you still do have. So even with that hole in your heart, you have to sometimes feel it and it's okay and cry. And sometimes you have to just put that one to the side and focus on the parts of your heart that are whole. That's the way I look at it. But that's beautiful
Yeah.
that you have that heart to heart connection with your dad then and now.
Hmm. Yeah. I miss it. I miss it. Now it's just kind of like quirky stuff that will happen. I'll be like, I'm pretty sure that was my dad. Because it just feels like where else could this be coming from? It's so, and he was so strong spirited and willed before he was shot that I knew that when he went to heaven someday that I was going to feel him because you could not just not feel my dad, his presence. He would walk into a bar back in the day, looking like he was going to go and sing on the stage with Motley Crue. Everybody knew who my dad was. So he'd walk into a
Uh,
place and his
uh,
presence would be like, "Oh, Bill's here." Like it was like that. So
that's
after he's been gone, that's what I feel. Like the day I brought his ashes
yeah,
home, my alarm went off on our ring cam and I went to go and check it and here's this blue jay. And it's not just standing there, it's sticking its face like right in the camera, like looking into it. And it was almost like my dad saying, beat you
yeah,
home. Well, I thought it was funny because his
yeah.
bank account password was Bluebird. And here's this Bluebird like face into my camera. I'm like, okay, Dad.
Beautiful. That's that absolute sign. Yeah, absolutely. And it's so good that you pay attention to them. That's why he keeps sending them because he knows you do. He's like,
Yeah,
she pays attention. I'm going to do some more stuff.
I
Yeah, he's
know.
still part of
It's
your
cool too, because it's like, is he figuring out more things that he's able to do? Because at the beginning, they probably, I'm assuming, they have to figure it out. I mean, I don't know. I haven't died and been there, so I'm not sure. But it seems like he's been able to do
life.
more and do different things,
Right.
like rewind a movie right to the beginning of his favorite song. I mean, things like that where I'm like,
Wow.
holy
That's
moly.
fantastic. Yeah,
Yeah,
100% right. That is great. I love your story too. This is great.
I
Yeah,
know.
I'm sure that's what he's doing. Absolutely. They can do all the things, but he just keeps doing more because he keeps wanting you to know that he's there and he's okay. I'm sure. That's how I felt when I connected with my son. Yeah.
I know. That's
Amazing.
beautiful. I love that so much. I love that. I like your tip too about like when you're having a moment because I'm always looking for tools. I actually created my trauma toolbox because I've been through a lot of trauma in my life. But this tool
Yeah.
of when I'm feeling a certain way to look up, it's like instinctively, I don't think I always do that. I probably end up do looking down because I want to like pray or like say something. But yeah, I think I'm gonna try that looking up when I'm having a moment.
It works, yeah, and it's something that someone told me. So yeah, and it switches your brain for some reason, but it works. I don't know. I like
Mm-hmm.
to use think maybe I'm connected. Yep, I know you're there, Corey. So, but it does something in your brain that it switches it in a positive way. Yeah. And brings
Yeah,
you out of the moment. So try that. Yeah, try it. It works for
definitely. So,
me.
how long has it been since your motorcycle accident?
3 years this month. Hmm.
Wow, that's still really pretty fresh and
Hmm.
new.
Hmm. Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Yeah. It hasn't been that long. Yep.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, first I spent a year healing physically, at least a year, and then I spent a year healing emotionally. And my son only passed away 2 years before my accident, so I'm still grieving and going through that. Now, this past year, I'm going to spiritual insights training, and it's like a class, and it helps with meditation and helps me to understand the near-death experience and bring meaning to it and understanding and words to it because a lot of it you don't remember. And so that's what I've been doing this past year, healing.
That is really, really great. I'm so happy to hear that. With that's my whole thing here on the School of Hard Knocks is this is the place we become unstuck from trauma and stuck in our healing. Because being stuck in that healing is just life is going to continue to come around and it's going to continue to do the things. I mean, as sad as it
Yeah,
is, I'm currently living my nightmare, but I know that life's like, me, I don't care. Something else is going to eventually happen. So I want to
yeah,
choose to stay stuck in healing and showing myself grace and just doing the healing the proper way. I did talk to somebody the other day about this, and she said, I think as a culture, we really inappropriately heal from grief because a lot of us
yeah,
stuff it down or we drink it away or we try to numb it. And it's just, you can't do that. You got to feel it, even though it's unpleasant. You really do
yep,
have to feel it. I mean, even not even talking about the grief that you have with Corey, but even grieving who you were 3 years
yeah,
ago and everything you've had to go through is a grief process.
absolutely. 100%. Yeah, I don't ride anymore, and riding was our life. It was a big part of our life. I have horses. It's difficult for me to be around them. I can walk. You wouldn't when I walk up to you, you wouldn't notice that I had this accident or anything that's wrong with me, but I'm not as stable as I was. I know I have to be careful, and my hands don't work the same way. And so, yeah, you're right. That's something else I've been working on this year too, and healing and finding the joy in those things still, even though it's different. Hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
well, tell us some of the things that you're finding joy and what are you doing to help with this process?
Well, I have horses, so for a long time I didn't go to the barn because first I was kind of nervous because I didn't want to get pushed down, and then I tried to scoop grain and it was hard, and it just made me so sad. But then I found other ways to do it, and I found out that, just because of the spiritual healing, there's spiritual, energy and just peace of just being with the horses. So now just going out there and scooping grain the best way I can and finding new ways, it's okay, and I still can enjoy them and their healing. So that's one of the things that I do and came back to in a different way. I don't ride motorcycles anymore. Um, yeah, so and I'm
And
writing a
I'm
book.
sure you miss that. I'm sure you miss the writing because my husband is a writer as well. And I know the feeling that he feels, the freedom of it and the peace of it. And I'm sure that's another part that you're missing.
The wind, yeah, I had to look up the wind therapy, 100%. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
beautiful. I loved riding. I still do. I bought a motorcycle when I was in rehab because when the insurance money came in, I'm like, I'm getting another bike. But I rode it twice and I have PTSD now, so it's not the
Yeah.
same. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, so I had to grieve that loss. But now maybe we'll go for a car ride instead. But for a long time, I didn't like that either because being in the car gave me PTSD. But you have to push yourself through, and like you said, 100% I agree. Walk through that pain, or you'll never get to the other side. and you'll always be struggling with it. You have to walk through it and learn to, I guess, live with it in some ways. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and be
agree.
gentle. I mean, be gentle, like if you're taking your first car ride, maybe it's just down the driveway and back. Maybe it's
Right.
just at the gas station and back, and then maybe it's a little bit further. I think so many of us are geared to be this. It's an all or nothing. If I'm getting in the car, I'm driving a flippin' Tennessee, and you're in Wisconsin, like, let's slow
Yeah,
down. Let's make it to the end of the
that's
road
right.
and back. And, because then you get
That's
that,
right.
okay, I was able to do that. I often tell people, I mean, when we are trying to help ourselves and nurture ourselves, which none of us really do enough, think of the way you would
Hmm.
nurture your child or your grandchild if you're like one of those like really good parents, you wouldn't say,
Right.
well, don't ever get on that bike again if you fall off of it, or take it all
Right.
the way to school and back. You would say, well, why don't you we'll put the training wheels back on it for just a little while just to get that courage back up. Because that's really what a lot of this is when we're learning how to do that, is getting courage again
Yep.
to face something that tried to steal something from us. That doesn't mean we have to be a
Right.
shark and go and attack it. Little tiny
Right.
steps always turn into big results.
Exactly. And I mean it's a brain thing. I'm like into the brain too. I'm an educational diagnostician. That's my job. And so like the PTSD is like activates in your brain where your brain's trying to protect you. When I'm in the car and I see anything on my side here, I go right back there, right back. So like you said, if I do a little bit and it's okay and it didn't trigger my PT. Oh, good. We're in and we're this far now and a little bit more and try when it activates. Okay, that's enough. You don't want to get back into that full flight or fright mode. And that's what I've done. And I can ride in the car now. So,
Yeah, that's awesome. That is really
mhm.
great. Well, you're writing a book. Tell me about this book.
So the book is The Day Heaven Sent Me Back. It's going to be called. I have full chapters and I'm fleshing it out for full manuscript. And it's going to go over the loss of my son, how well, my life before and then the loss of my son, going through that grieving process and how I ended up seeing him in heaven and how that helped me heal and understand that we do continue on after we pass away and just my spiritual healing and how that all played out. Really just this was a great overview of what the book is going to be.
That
Mhm.
is very, very exciting. And well, congratulations on that, because when you can get to the level of where you can put pen to paper and really start sharing the things that you've gone through, it's a whole nother healing process, even doing that. I have
I'm sure.
collaborated 2 books in the last year myself. And that was a really weird healing process for me. I thought, holy smokes. Actually, the second book I collaborated, I was totally certain that I was going to write about my journey with my dad. And then something just red
Hmm.
flagged in my mind to protect me and said, you're not ready for that yet. You're not ready to dive all the way back into all that deep pain at the beginning because this is still so raw for you now. So let's show yourself some grace. This isn't always just for the people. This is also
Yeah.
for you too. So it's very
Yep.
interesting how when you go through certain traumas like that, you do learn how to take care of yourself and nurture yourself because you know what bad really
Yeah.
looks like.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. I wouldn't have been able to do it before now, and it's at 3 years. And when I write those chapters, it brings you right back there and you just cry and cry again. So yes, take your time, let your soul heal first, and you'll know when it's time. And I look forward to reading that. And I'm going to have to check your books out. I haven't yet.
Yes, well, they are the Empower Her is what they're called, volume 1.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then the second one is Empower Her Unstoppable Edition.
I
So
love that.
they are collaborated with 24 other women that this is all from hard times to we got through it. Amazing stories of resilience and change and I mean everything. So yeah, it was really powerful to get together with these ladies and pour it all out there to show people life can be life in sometimes, but and we can
Mhm.
make it through the hard things.
That's right. Yep. And walking through it, that's what I've learned. That's what I've learned. Just keep walking. Take it one. It's okay. It's okay to not be okay, right? It's okay to have
Mm.
days that you cry. It's okay to be sad some days. But then pick yourself up and find something that you enjoy. I've found that. Find one thing every day that you're going to enjoy. And there was days that it was like that. Just find this one little thing and those can grow. So yeah, I love that. I look forward to reading it.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for this conversation. This has been so good for my whole entire soul. Thank you for sharing everything with me, and just being open about it because for people like me who are right here in this grief period, listening to this has been really helpful. So thank you for being here.
Right. And also for people to not think I'm a little nutty because I say I went to heaven, because there's
No.
people that think. So I appreciate you understanding and being on the same page. I love meeting you and you helped me too.
I'm so glad. All right, School of Hard Knocks. So you are able to find Melanie on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. I will link
Mhm.
everything below in our little description here. So you know what to do after you are done watching this. Go over to all of the places, follow Melanie, like all of the stuff, share all of the stuff, support her because there is more than enough room at the top of this mountain for all of us. And as always, when you are walking with God, healing is always possible. I'll see you guys on the next episode.
I'd like to thank you for sharing your time with me today. And I'm so proud of you for stepping into your healing journey. Please share this with every single person that you know. I'm here to make the biggest impact possible, and I can only do that with you by my side. I hope you hit that follow button and you save me to your library so you never miss an episode. We just took another break out of your wall, and remember, with God, healing is always possible. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.